the greatest risk that you have is your auto. You're driving around a majority of the time during the day. We've talked about different types of insurance, but again, arguably, the auto might be the biggest risk that you have. I think the biggest misnomer is that individuals in this business genre don't understand that personal insurance policies rarely, if ever, cross over to commercial use. So if you have a personal auto policy, but you're using that personal auto that's on that policy for business purposes, you really need to make sure that you are clear on what your policy will and will not cover. We don't want to see anybody go out and get into an accident that's their fault, have a claim come at them, and have their personal policy not trigger because they were using their car for business use. There are different ways to mitigate that. You can look into a commercial auto policy. You can look into, and I highly suggest it, a business use endorsement. One of the things that you're going to want to do, however, if you look into that business use endorsement, is don't go to your agent with guns blazing saying, hey, I'm a process server and I heard this guy talking, he says I need this business use endorsement, I use my car for business, can I get one? You got to remember, carriers and brokers alike that don't understand the profession and the business are probably going to be scared off by that. Instead, you might want to go and say, you know, I use my personal automobile for business purposes. I go see clients. I go to meetings now and again, and I want to make sure I have the right protection. You certainly don't want to lie, and you certainly don't want to have any sort of a material omission when you're asking these questions, but you want to present it gently, and that's the idea that I'm trying to bring to your attention. The flip side of all this is commercial auto. You can get a commercial auto policy. It is more expensive, there's just no doubt about it. But that commercial auto policy, you can be assured you're not going to have any loops. You're identifying what it is you use the vehicle for. You're identifying that you're a private investigator, and now because you're in a commercial auto form, they're going to be a little bit more likely to take you than if you're in a personal auto form because they probably understand it more. There are other bells and whistles that go on. You can get hired and non-owned auto with commercial auto. Hired and non-owned auto is especially important if you have subcontractors. If a subcontractor is running around on your behalf and they get into an auto accident, and let's say they're carrying state minimum limits, or their insurance policies lapsed altogether, so they're out there running around with no insurance, and they put somebody in a wheelchair by hitting them in a crosswalk, where do you think a personal injury attorney is going to turn to next? The company. They're going to turn to the company. Exactly. So what coverage is going to come into play here? You might think it's general liability, because again, we've got bodily injury, right? General liability does not cover auto claims in any way, shape, or form. Only auto coverage is going to cover an auto claim.